Hi guys, here we are, chapter 3. Brr. Annie, whispered Jack again, but there was no answer. He put his book quietly into his pack. He stepped deeper into the cave. Annie, he said a little louder. Jack stepped on the bones. The wet dog smell grew stronger. He kept going deeper into the smelly blackness of the cave. He ran into something. He gasped. Jack, said Annie, is that you? Didn't you hear me calling? Jack whispered. We have to get out of this cave. Wait, she said. Someone's sleeping back there. I can hear him snoring. Jack heard a low, deep moaning. It was loud and then soft, loud and then soft. That's not a person, he said. It's a great cave bear. Just then a booming snore shattered the air. Yikes, said Annie. Go, go, said Jack. He and Annie ran out of the cave, over the bones and out into the falling snow. They kept on going. They ran between fallen rocks and under jagged cliffs. Finally, they stopped and turned around. All they could see was snow and rocks and their own footprints. No bear. There they are, running in the snow. They're running away from the cave that they were in. They're getting away. Whew, said Annie. That was close. Yeah, said Jack. That bear probably never even woke up. We just got in a panic. Annie huddled close to Jack. Brr, I'm freezing, she said. Me too, he said. He took off his glasses to wipe off the snow. The cold wind blew against his bare legs. Wow, Annie said. Look. She pointed to something behind Jack. What? Jack put his glasses back on and turned around. Under a cliff was a wide ledge, and under the ledge was another cave. Only this cave seemed to have a golden glow, or a golden light coming from it. This cave looked cozy and safe and warm. Chapter 4. Cave Kids. Jack and Annie crept to the cave and peeked inside. A small fire danced from a bed of glowing coals. Near the fire were knives, axes, and hollowed-out stones. Animal skins were neatly stacked against the wall. People must live here, said Annie. Maybe it's the home of the Cro-Magnons that we saw, said Jack, looking around. Let's go inside and get warm, said Annie. Jack and Annie moved quickly to the fire and warmed their hands. Their shadows danced on the stone walls. Jack pulled out his Ice Age book. He found a picture of a cave, and he read out loud. Cro-Magnons made many things from animals, plants, and stone. They made flute-like musical instruments from mammoth bones. They made ropes by braiding plant fibers, and they made axes and knives from stone. Jack pulled out his notebook and pencil. He started writing a list. His list said, Cro-Magnons made bone flutes, plant ropes, stone axes, and knives. Ta-da, said Annie. Jack looked up. Annie was wearing a coat. It had a hood and long sleeves, and it went all the way down to her sneakers. Where did you get that coat? Said Jack. From that pile of furry skins, said Annie, pointing. These must be their clothes. Maybe they're being mended. She picked up another coat and handed it to Jack. Try this on. It's really warm, she said. Jack put his backpack and towel down on the hard dirt floor. He slipped on the coat. They look so cozy. Those are coats made out of animal skins and fur. And there's the fire that they keep warm. They look much more comfortable now. It did feel very warm and soft. We look like cave kids, said Annie. Squeak! Peanut peeked out of Jack's pack lying on the floor. You stay in there, said Annie. There isn't a tiny coat for you. Peanut vanished back into the backpack. I wonder how they made these coats, said Jack. He turned the pages in the book until he found a picture of Cro-Magnon women sewing. And he read out loud. Cro-Magnon scraped reindeer skins with flint rocks to make them soft. They used some bone needles to sew the skins together to make clothes. Jack added to his list. Reindeer skin clothes, he wrote. I hope the cave people don't mind if we borrow their coats, said Jack. Maybe we should give them our towels, said Annie, to thank them. Good idea. And my goggles, too, said Annie. They left their gifts on top of the rest of the animal skins. Let's explore the cave before they come home, said Jack. It's too dark in the back, said Annie. We won't be able to see anything. I'll find out how Cro-Magnon saw in the dark, said Jack. He opened the Ice Age book. He found a picture of cave people holding odd-looking lamps, and he read out loud to Annie. Cro-Magnons made stone lamps. They hollowed out a rock, filled it with animal fat, and then burned a little wick made from moss. There, said Annie. She pointed to 2 stones near the fire. In the hollow of each was gooey white stuff and a pile of moss. We better be careful, said Jack. He picked up one stone. It was smaller than a soup bowl, but much heavier. Jack held the stone close to the fire and lit the little piece of moss. He lit another lamp and gave it to Annie. It was kind of like a little lantern they made. Carry it with 2 hands, he said. I know, she said. Jack tucked the book under his arm. He and Annie carried their stone lamps to the back of the cave. Hey, I wonder where this goes, said Annie. She held her lamp up to an opening in the wall. Let me look in the book, said Jack. He put down his lamp and flipped through the Ice Age book. I think it's a tunnel, she said. Be right back. Wait a second, said Jack. But it was too late. She had squeezed into the opening and was gone. Oh, brother, said Jack, sighing. He closed his book and peeked into the opening. Come back here, he said. No, you come here, said Annie. Her voice sounded far away. You won't believe this. Jack picked up his lamp and the book. He ducked into a small tunnel. Wow, came Annie's voice. Jack could see her lamp flickering at the other end. Crouching down, he hurried toward her. At the end of the tunnel was a huge cavern, which is like another cave, with a very high ceiling. Annie held her lamp close to the wall. Look, she said. Her voice echoed. Animals were painted on the wall in strokes of red and black and yellow. They were cave bears and lions, elk and reindeer, bison and woolly rhinos, and mammoths. In the flickering light, the prehistoric beasts looked alive. So kind of like hieroglyphs written on the walls, just like in the Egypt book. Interesting. We'll find out what happens next in Chapter 5.